everyone. I am the Creepy Kentuckian.
And I'm Uncle Bill. Howdy, folks, and welcome back to another edition of DEADPIT on YouTube. I am Uncle Bill.
And I'm the Creepy Kentuckian, if you will. And we've got a treat for you this week. As y'all know, a few weeks ago, we took a ghouly gander, as Mickey Maggots says, at Creepshow 2, which was, you know, as everyone knows, it's aficionado horror. It's a classic. But this week, we're doing a review just to basically warn all of the horror fans out there of this movie's existence.
Yeah, we want to make everyone aware of a very well-known sequel to Creepshow 2, Creepshow 3, which is just getting ready to come out.
Yeah, from directors James Doodleson and Anna Clevel. You may remember them from a piece of shit known as Day of the Dead 2.
Contagion.
And they also did a couple of really horrible movies, Horror 101 and Horror 102.
Yeah, and if you don't know their MO is to take old movies that Romero doesn't have the rights to anymore for some reason or another, and to make shit-ass fucking sequels with them because they own the rights.
Yeah, basically, shit all over them.
That's right.
So, this is Creepshow 3 that has no involvement at all
with anything good.
Yeah, or George Romero, Stephen King, Tom Savini, anybody from the original movies. So, similar to the other Creepshow movies, you have different stories, multitude of stories.
It is an anthology, a very loose anthology, and it's not really separated by the normal comic book, separations that were in the previous two. Instead, you've got some kind of weird, like, fucking
Flash animation looking stuff.
Really crappy, like PowerPoint style animation that comes up on the screen and just scoots out of the way really quick, and then you go to a next episode. But the first episode
is an episode which they titled Alice, which is about a young schoolgirl who hates living at home, and she comes home from school one day to find her father messing around with the remote control, and he can't figure it out. So there's a button that he pushes that changes the family's ethnic flavor, I guess, I don't know. So it changes to a black family.
Yeah, it changes races. Like each time the button is pushed, like they become a black family, and then a Hispanic family, and then eventually shit starts happening that they don't ever explain why it is that it's happening. Like, for instance, she starts to turn into like this blob-like thing with boils and shit all over her body, and they never tell you why.
For some reason, she doesn't notice that at all either.
No, and everybody else is perfectly fine with it too up until the very end.
And she goes randomly in somebody's house and just starts eating stuff
for no
reason
at all.
Like a lot of the stories we're going to be talking about, this one made absolutely no fucking sense at all.
At the end of it, though, it must be noted that she's turned into a rabbit.
She does. She turns into
the Alice in Wonderland reference that I think is going through this particular episode.
She turns into a goddamn rabbit, folks. A fucking rabbit.
I have no idea other than that possible connection why you would turn her into a rabbit.
That's the greatness of James Doodleson and Anna Clevel.
Yeah, but after you get past the horrible, like, little, animated thing that leads you to the next episode, the next one is called The Radio.
And it's not about the movie where
no, it's not.
Who was it? Cuba Gooding Jr. played the retard named Radio. It's nothing to do with that. That was a lot better than this. But
this episode is about a guy who he apparently doesn't own a television set or a computer or anything else like that. He just owns a radio. And one day his antenna breaks on his radio, so he goes down and buys another radio off a homeless person who, in kind of like a similar fashion to Gremlins, warns him about the radio. Yeah. So he takes the radio back.
Homage
and
to Gremlins.
It starts to talk to him.
And starts telling him things. It tries to have a little sexy voice going on. It's a woman radio.
Yeah.
So he wants to impress the woman radio. And he does what the radio tells him to do, which involves stealing a lot of money and eventually getting killed.
Yeah. And of course, like all, inanimate objects that tell people what to do things, this one wants him to kill people. And at the end of it, you find out there's a big underlying subplot that you didn't know about. Or somebody else owns a fucking radio.
Yeah, that's true. And it talks to him, too.
That's the silliest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah. The thing about these movies, too, before we go on to the next one, is they're really not horror movies. And they're not even, I wouldn't even call them movies, because they don't really have a story to them. They don't make no goddamn sense.
It's almost like they don't really try to explain anything because either they couldn't, because the plots were so bad, or they just ran out of time and money to actually try to explain it. But either way, you have no idea what's going on for the majority, and there's no like details or anything explained in this.
So let's go on to the next one. There's actually like 4 or 5 stories in this one. The next one's called The Call Girl. This involves a call girl who is also a serial killer.
Right.
And there's a big buzz around town, the call girl killers, the call girl killing, something like that. And she meets up with a guy who, I guess he turns into a fucking vampire. They don't really say. He looks like a demon or a vampire, but he also kills people. Okay, and he's playing the role of the John who wants, he wants his candle waxed, if you will.
Mm-hmm. His wick dipped. The thing about it is right from the beginning of this episode, when he contacts her, he sets up an appointment with this call girl who's a serial killer, that he's going to be a fucking killer too. I mean, I pretty much said that, I think, right when the episode started. Mm-hmm. That he's going to be a killer, the family's going to be a killer.
I didn't think they would be that clever.
Yeah.
I just didn't, I didn't think Benson or Clevel had that type of writing ability.
Yeah, as it turns out, they pretty much do directly rip off a couple of different things, one of them being the Masters of Horror episode, what was it, Pick Me Up? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they completely ripped that off. And this may be the most watchable of all the little episodes.
Yeah, it really is. It is the best of all the little chapters of the story, but it's still not good.
By any means, no, it's not.
Also, you have a little... Here's where it really started falling apart to me.
Yeah.
I mean, these stories...
I think they just ran out of, film or something. They had to hurry.
They just, made less and less sense as they went on, really. Next one's the professor's wife, who a college professor, has a couple of his old students over. And his wife is really hot. She's like in her early 20s. And this guy's an old fart. The professor is an old fart. He's like, 50s, 60s. Mm-hmm. And they can't figure it out how the professor could get a woman that hot being that old.
Plus, he's like a bioengineer. Mm-hmm. So they figure that he's designed some way to make a female android type robot.
Yeah, she's also Russian, I think.
Yeah.
And she can't speak English too well. Sounds a little like a robot. There you go. So these students decide they're just going to take her apart. Okay?
Yeah. With apparently, I think it's like a bone saw or a hatchet or something. Who the fuck knows? But, yeah, that's pretty much the entire story of that piece of shit.
So,
And here's the funny thing about that got me, too. When they actually show the scene when they're taking her apart, the makeup effects or whatever that they're using, looks like shit you could buy at like a Halloween party store. Like fake limbs and stuff.
This is true.
It's just
actually the head they use, I actually have a head similar.
Yeah. The head that they use is quite similar in quality to this particular head.
This Al Snow head, okay? They just drench it in blood, if you will. And, yeah, I mean, it looks exactly like that. That was probably the budget they had. They stole it from, like, a barber shop or something. I don't know. But that was the professor's wife.
And finally, the last episode in this film, which took the fucking cake for anything I've ever seen, was called Haunted Dog. And it's the story of a doctor who doesn't care anything about his patients. And while he's walking into his little, makeshift hospital, I think it's like a free clinic, he drops a hot dog that he just bought on the ground and decides since he can't eat it, he'll give it to a bum who was looking for some money. So the bum chokes to death on the fucking hot dog and comes back and starts haunting him. I'm not making this up. I swear to God, that's the plot.
That's it, folks. Hey, there's nothing else to it. It's just bullshit. That's the longest chapter in the whole movie, and it's all shit. I
think that you really don't need... After choking to death on a hot dog and coming back to haunt somebody, what else can you really say about that?
Yeah, it's sort of a takeoff on one we were talking about last week, the Creepshow 2.
Oh,
it's a little like that.
The Hitchhiker.
The Hitchhiker one, and but it's a lot
except
worse.
It's like 10 times worse than that.
My hot dog! I swear it's what's said.
Uh-huh.
Not shitting you.
And it's actually has scenes in it where the guy who's haunting him, offers him a fucking hot dog.
What the... You know, okay, we're reviewing this on the show this week and on YouTube because we want to get the message out there to people that this DVD's coming out the end of this month.
Yeah.
Stay away from
Please.
it. Tell everybody you know
There-
to steer clear of this piece of fucking shit.
This is not good in a bad way. This is just a horrible fucking movie.
You know, this is...
It's not anything redeeming about this film at all. Please.
And in addition to that, these are assholes banking off of George Romero, Stephen King's work, which was actually great movies. And this has nothing. It resembles nothing about those movies. It's just...
It's the name. That's all it
they're
is.
using the name. That's the only way this movie got distributed.
And it worked because we actually reviewing it. I mean, we thought enough about the first two Creepshows to actually review the third one.
Yeah,
and we're very sorry that we did.
This is more of a warning, though. You know, nobody go out. Don't even rent it.
No.
Please.
No.
Because you get no enjoyment out of it at all. It's just, it's a real turd of a film, I think.
It's a waste of money and your life, trust me. So I guess that's all that there really is to say about that.
That's Creepshow 3. We'll put the cover up, what it's supposed to look like on the screen. Stay away from it.
Yeah. If you need some entertainment that night, I would recommend renting at least 5 different, Uwe Boll movies for this damn movie one
I
time.
would recommend lubing your wiener up with super glue rather than watching Creepshow 3.
Yeah. That's true.
So, until next time, I'm the Creepy Kentuckian.
And I am Uncle Bill.
And you can check us out every week over at DEADPIT.com.
Don't buy that fucking movie, I'm telling you.
Do it.